self-doubt and all that stuff, which doesn't really leave when you stop being a teenager, but, you know, it's there. But on top of that, there's, you know, there have been moments with the press and things where it's, you know, where it has been quite tough, and it's, you know, and you do feel, and there's also an overwhelming sense of people waiting and wanting for us to slip up. That is quite upsetting, I suppose, that there are people in the world who are willing you to fall on your face, because it'll just, and because frankly they don't care whether you live or die. They just want to sell papers. And also, I mean, the worst thing I did, I mean, I've been, you know, it's been well documented that I never read anything about myself in the papers or on the internet and stuff. But when I was 14, I did, and I went on the internet and Googled myself, and you know, and obviously there are a lot of people saying nice things, but they don't really, you don't see them. You only see the people who are just vile about you, and that is just really, really strange, because it's also, it's the thing of, you know, the assumption that they know me and that they have a right to talk about me that way, and it's just so unbelievably arrogant of some people. So yeah, that I did find quite upsetting, and that did affect me for a while, particularly as a teenager.
Pumpkinhead, isn't he?
I don't think it was the books that had him going to the library.
May I have your
arm, leg, and yours?
When I was a teenager, I was just thinking, well, why can't I just go out like all my friends are? And why can't I just go to clubs? I mean, frankly, I've been to clubs since, and yeah, they're not really my thing anyway, I've discovered, which is quite lucky for me. A lot of my friends would always be like, oh, do you want to come out tonight? We're going to so-and-so, we're going here, we're going to... And I'd always be like, well, no, I'm getting up for work at 5:30 tomorrow, like, I can't. And there was a lack of... there was, I don't know whether, it was just they didn't seem to quite get that. Some people did, you know, but I did feel kind of disconnected from people my own age, but I also felt kind of lucky to be so connected to people older than me. I was really, you know, because, you know, when you're a teenager, you're all going through the same thing. You're all moaning and, you know, acting as if the problems that you're having now are the biggest problems you will ever face in your life. I was on a film set with people who'd all been through that stuff and could all just turn around to me and go, it's fine. In a year's time, you will not even remember this girl. Or you will not even, you know, or that fight you had with your friend is so unimportant in the grand scheme of things, you know. And so I actually felt quite lucky to have a lot of people around me who were sane enough and adjusted enough to tell me that actually that stuff didn't matter, really.
Hey, listen up, you lot. Thought you a surprise.
Not more of that before it's cooking, I hope. Be surprised if we can digest it. Flying.
Dan confuses me because I don't know how he's managed to remain exactly the same from day one. I really don't. I mean, that, you know, he's done sellouts, you know, Equus in the West End and Broadway. He's done a musical at Broadway. He's been, you know, the lead character in this film now for over a decade, and he's just Dan. And it's something I really, really admire, that the man will not give up this work ethic. It's amazing.
I mean, you really can't imagine kind of anyone else kind of playing those parts. They've just completely taken over my original imagination when I read the books, and I was a big book fan.
It sounds really lame, but he's a really good person, and Harry's a really good person, and he's prepared to literally sacrifice his life for everyone. And Dan would be that kind of person.
We've been with each other kind of every day, every month, every year, and I think it's very natural to kind of become quite good friends, and I think that's kind of, I guess, quite important with these characters, definitely.
And he's got this amazing laugh that when you actually make him laugh, he almost, like, there's no air comes out, he just opens his mouth. And it's a satisfactory laugh where you think, my joke worked. He's got one of those. So I like Dan a lot.
I was by no means natural at this. I've learned what I've learned through doing and through application and through hard work. But I don't, so occasionally I do sometimes think, well, because I don't want to fail at this. I really want to do well, and I want to make it easy. Because the thing is, and this is something I was aware of very young, was that if I can make it out the other side of this and forge a career for myself for the next however long, then any other child actor who comes after me will hopefully not have to deal with all those irritating questions. Because if I can do it, and me and Emma Rupert can do it in the biggest, as you said earlier, the most successful franchise ever, then that puts the argument to bed. I really want to prove all the people wrong who assumed when I got the part that we wouldn't ever carry on beyond Potter. I mean, I've already done stuff towards that, as you said, like Equus and My Boy Jack and December Boys, Woman in Black. All those things, they're really, but these are the first steps in what is going to be a very long process.
Ladies and gentlemen, Harry Potter himself, for the final time attending a premiere here in London, Daniel Radcliffe. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, Alex?
I'm really well, thank you for asking. Now, I saw your face as you just came over that step there and saw all this.
It's the moment when you just have to sort of let yourself sit back and go, this is pretty damn cool. This is like, you don't get this often. This will not happen to me again. A premiere in Trafalgar Square, this is a one-off. The whole series, not just the film, not just the end products of the films, but the way they were made, the atmosphere in which they were made is kind of unrepeatable.
When somebody said to me, after Potter, you're not going to take a break? I was like, no. Now I cannot afford to take a break. Now this is the time when the world will be, certainly the film world, will be watching to see what we do next, and we can't afford to be seen to be inactive. That fear of failure is something that will, panic me a lot.
This is our last day on Potter, so all slightly melancholy. Anyway, I shall come and I'll see you later, sir.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
I always knew it was going to come to an end, but I don't think there's any way you can prepare for it. I mean, other than knowing that a lot of the friends you've made you will have forever, which I will. I don't think there's any way you can actually just psych yourself up for that.
That's the last time you'll give me the glasses. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you very much.
And it was only on the last day. We were doing this scene. It was the last scene It was the last scene. I promised myself it wouldn't end on green screen, but inevitably it did. And it was the last day of principal photography, and it was a shot of us jumping through frame, so sort of low-angle camera, and then we sort of saw through one after the other, me, Rupert and Ella.
It's just a final big leap.
Oh, one last leap.
One last leap.
And just before we'd done the take, David Heyman and David Barron came up to me and said, so, how are you feeling? And I said, yeah, good, pretty good. I just want to say I've had a really, really nice time. And there was something so... because that was the only way I could think of to phrase it. And as soon as I said it, there was something so childlike about it. It was like I was suddenly 10 again, using the phrase a 10-year-old would use. And that was when I suddenly felt that lump come there, and just I didn't quite know what to do, and did the last shot, managed to just about get through that. And then when it was over and they played this video of that they'd made during the film.
3, 4.
And I was watching that, and I was seeing all these people that I'd known. And these are just the people I spent the last 18 months with. That doesn't even account for the